Well, I was mainly known for being the best at everything. You know, being the most athletic.
Columbus North, number 7, Kyle Kagan.
Back then, and you know, everybody that would hear Taylor Sanders, oh, he's strong, he's you know, a music artist, or he's, you know, one of the best football players or running backs ever, or he's this and he's that. So I had a bunch of talents, and I'm blessed, and I thank God for my talents. But I used my talents to get me through life.
I will say, and everybody ain't gonna like this, but I will say, out of the 8 of us, Taylor is the most talented. You might be able to say, like, I think him and Tyrell need to have a conversation about football, you know, and I think that on a basketball side, like, I could say something, Thomas could say something, Tonisha could say something. Tyler is really good at both, but like all around talent, I think Taylor, like, I don't think there's anything that he can't do.
You see, I'm proud of myself, cause I've been dealing with a bunch of things, going through a lot of pain, still ain't gave up. That made me proud of myself, cause Lord knows how I'm feeling on the inside. The inside, it get heavy, but I'm proud of myself.
Mama!
Huh?
Water.
What?
Water.
You want some water?
I said water.
Oh, yeah. Stand back so you won't get the camera wet. Sit down so I can run on your legs. Come back, Tyler. Come back over here.
So my name is Taylor Sanders, middle name Lamont. I wanted to make sure I say that because I put my name in all of my kids' names, and that's a big part of my name as well. But Taylor Sanders, man, I'm an artist, producer, and I got a lot to say. I got a message, and I feel like it'll help a lot of people out in their lives and in this situation.
Oh no, man. And they got
Taylor. Hi. How y'all doing?
I had a lot of family growing up, and I had a lot of, you know, uncles and aunties, a lot of positive influences, a lot of reassurance, a lot of love, a little bit of everything, because we got a big family. It was a lot, man. It was a lot to take on. It was a lot to try to live up to, you know, from the day we was born. And then me being a twin, you know, that made it easier, because I always had somebody to talk to, or somebody to be with, or somebody to play with, or whatever, but it also made it a little bit harder because everything was a competition.
Look at you following the camera around here, where it go? Yeah, we know who you are.
chilling in the front. Got the beautiful Christmas tree. Beautiful.
Who's gonna be on camera? You follow me everywhere I go.
It's like I'm rich. that's my brother Taylor,
You know,
taller than me like Shaq.
you got it like that, like Shaq.
Let's hear it for unspoken praise. Unspoken praise.
I mean, I like the way I grew up. I feel like it was a lot of things that probably could have been done better. Me being a man now and looking back, there was probably a lot of things that probably could have been handled in a different way. And I feel like there was a lot of things that was missed when it came to me. And I think that had to do with having a lot of kids and having a lot of family as well, because there's a lot of distractions, and I found myself a lot of the time trying to get attention.
He would just do stuff that just was not normal, like things that you would say, like, how do you even think to do that? I remember being at home, and it was just me and Mom, I believe, and she got a phone call from the school, and I could tell something was going wrong on the other end of the call, and she hung up, and I was like, what's wrong? And at this point, Taylor and Tyler are in high school. I'm an adult, and I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, Taylor got in trouble in school. I'm like, what did he do? It's like, well, he was dancing, in the classroom, and his teacher told him to sit down. And so he got up later to go sharpen his pencil or something. And the teacher was like, you need to go sit down right now. And so instead of him walking back to his seat, the teacher said, and I quote, he sashayed back to his seat. He hit dance moves all the way back to his seat. And I'm like, bro, you're already in trouble. Like, what would make you think to do that? I remember we got a call that he did a backflip off the church bus. I'm like, wait, what? Like, you're not even scared to do that? So there were some things where it was just like, this dude is fearless. His temperament is oh, I'm going to do it. That determined is that doggedness of oh, I'm going to do this. And I think that's probably a part of why he's so talented in other areas. He has that mindset to not quit and not give up. And once he sets his mind to do something, he's going to do it and be really good at it.
Well, now that I think about it, I may have realized it at a young age, but I didn't know that that's what it was. When I was in, I think about 7th grade, I attempted suicide, and it was mainly because there was a lot of things going on in my house, in my household, and in my life that I just didn't understand. I didn't understand why I wasn't getting good grades and everybody else was. I didn't understand why I couldn't play sports and everybody else could. I didn't understand why, my mom wanted me to go to a different school than my twin brother because I was a bigger influence on him. I didn't understand why, people looked at me different and people didn't accept me unless I was with my family or unless I was with my brother or unless I was with, my mom or my dad. It was more of a, if I'm by myself, then, they weren't interested. And I started to notice that. And I started to just get in my mind about me not being good enough. And it made me second guess life. I started to lose confidence in myself. I even started to lose confidence in my mask. I even started to lose, just dignity and respect for myself and self-worth. I lost the ability to know who I was and what I meant to people. I lost the ability to know my self-worth and, what I was capable of. And I would do things to try to remind myself of those things. But it's very easy to forget when you're just in a bunch of depression and you're in a bunch of, mental warfares. It's easy to lose that battle. So I was in a bunch of just mental depression and mental warfares, and it literally took everything out of me that I was ever taught. And it literally broke me down to the point where it made me feel like I was worthless. It made me feel like I wasn't worth nothing. I wasn't worth living. When in my right mind, I knew that wasn't true. And so that it also affected my life as far as drug use, as far as just bad decisions, making careless decisions, not caring what happened, not caring what it does to other people. It was just me fighting with myself, and it didn't mold me to be a better man at all until, later on in my life when I started to rebuild myself. And once I started to rebuild myself, I started to rethink some of those same thoughts, but I was able to balance those thoughts out with positive thoughts, and the good always outweighed the bad. And religion played a big role in that too.
It's that goat lingo. Jumping out of spaceship, icier than glaciers. Walking on the moon, feel like MJ in the making. I know that I'm different, they keep telling me I'm crazy. I got an agenda, so I do not let that faze me. Darker the berry, sweeter the juice, how mama raised me.
It's not gonna be as bad as you think it's gonna be, and going into something not knowing is very, very fearful and very just unpleasant, but you can get through it if you put your mind to it, and that's that's one thing that I still have to live by today. I'm out of prison, but I'm still on parole. I still got things that I got to get through, but it's up to me to decide if I'm going to let that make me or break me. And while I was in prison and while I was, going through what I was going through, it was the time where I decided to not let anything break me. I let it mold me. I let it make me stronger. I let it build some resilience. I let it, I let it build me into the person that I am today, and to be able to be a better person for my kids. It taught me a lot about patience. It taught me a lot about my presence. I never, I had those suicidal thoughts, and I had those, things going on in my mind about my self-worth and my, the way that I felt like, I wasn't worth this or I wasn't worth that. And going in there, man, it literally makes you realize, like, your presence is everything. Your presence to your kids is everything. Your presence to your wife is everything.
I take a lot of pride in being an uncle. Like I think I wanted to be an uncle longer and before I wanted to be a dad, if you can believe that. As a kid, how kids like, oh, I'm going to have like X amount of kids. I don't think I ever thought like that. But I thought about like, man, my siblings have kids and I'm going to be a good uncle to my nieces and nephews. And so his kids have given me an opportunity to do that in a unique way. But I love spending time with them. They are super talented and they don't even know. Yeah, it's interesting to see how all of them have an aspect of Taylor in them. And I even noticed that as a father of my own, like watching my kids, it's like, oh, I know where that came from. And so it's a fun and unique and interesting perspective to see it from the uncle standpoint. I see certain mannerisms or certain things they're doing. I'm like, they don't even know where that comes from, but I know exactly where that came from. I've seen that before.
Everything in life is a process, and you have a choice whether you're going to trust the process or you're going to let that process break you. Everything in life is temporary. Nothing lasts forever. So whenever you find yourself in a detrimental moment, just remember that it's a moment. Just remember that it's not, the rest of your life. You're not going to always be this way. And continue to build your mental and your mind and your heart to be able to endure trials and tribulations and stick with God. Because like I said, it was a time in my life where I went away from God. And my life got worse the farther as I went away. But he never turned his back on me, and he would never do that to my kids either. And I would tell my kids, trust the process. Life is a process. Life is short. Don't try to live the fast life. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if it's dark right now, there's some light somewhere. Believe in yourself and believe in the process and keep seeing improvements on the way. Like me, I work out. So working out has helped me with my patience. It's helped me with trusting the process. It's helped me with perseverance. It's helped me with self-esteem. It's helped me with everything, because when you first start working out, if you work out the first day for an hour, you won't see any difference in your body. You won't see any improvement or anything. But if you continue to do that same process over and over and over and over again, at some point, you'll look at yourself again and you'll start to see a change, and you'll start to see a positive difference. You'll start to see what you're working towards. And sometimes when you work out, you see muscles and you see parts of your body that you didn't even know you had. So that explains the you don't know, what the process is going to bring. You don't know what's going on. You don't know, what you're working towards sometimes. But it's about falling in love with the process of working, because you know that you're going to get better at the end of the day. You're going to get bigger. You're going to get faster. You're going to get stronger at the end of the day. So, that's probably the biggest thing that I would probably, teach my kids is to, just trust the process and, love others. It's all about unconditional love.
If anybody has the attributes that it takes to overcome some of the things that you have already overcome and that you need to overcome, it's you. Like, everything about your life, I feel like God has been preparing you to overcome great things so that you can go do great things. And I think that you probably had enough life experience. You've seen enough things to understand which path to take and which path not to take. But even having that realization doesn't matter as much if you don't have the tools, right? You need the awareness, because no transformation happens without awareness. I think you have the awareness. Now it's just about using the tools that God gave you, and you've been using them your whole life. It's just about using them in a certain direction, which from our recent conversations, I know you're already doing that. And so I'm super excited about your future and what's to come. I think it's going to be above and beyond anything that even you think or even that we could imagine. So I'm super excited about the future and to see what you do with it.
Times got hard, but I got through